For the cross is tapped home, and it's the skipper, George Johnson.
Saved off the post, and then Alfie May follows up.
They say a week is a long time in football, don't they? And it's certainly been a good one. After a hard-fought point here at the Valley against the league leaders, the Addicts went up to Derby County on Tuesday night and brought home all 3 points for our first win in 18 games. And under Nathan Jones, the Addicts are now unbeaten in 4 and today travel to Northampton Town, who have taken 7 points from their last 3 games as well and sit comfortably 11th in League One. The Cobblers beat the Addicts 3-2 at the Valley only last month in what would be Michael Appleton's last game in charge. And Charlton will be hoping they can continue the recent upturn in form today at the Sixfields Stadium in front of a sold-out away end. With less than 45 minutes until kick-off, let's take a look at what we've got coming up. We will, of course, be hearing from Charlton manager Nathan Jones. And with the boss being full of praise for midfielder Connor Coventry on Tuesday, we spoke to the 23-year-old ahead of today's game. And we'll take a look behind the scenes at training as Charlton women prepare for a big away game at Watford. A warm welcome to everyone joining us from around the world. And don't forget, guys, alongside this full production from Charlton Athletic TV, you can book your live streaming passes for all of the action on pitch for just £10. So make sure you do that if you are outside of the UK. And I'm delighted to say I've got 2 Charlton legends once again alongside me. First up, we've replaced a bit of experience with goal-scoring prowess in the shape of Kevin Lisbie. And then alongside him, the ever-present Steve Brown. Gentlemen, it's great to be back.
First time I've been ever present.
Made me so in you coming on.
And of course, we were just saying off there as well, weren't we, Brownie? It's really nice that there's now an air of optimism after that big win on Tuesday night.
Oh, just a bit, yeah. I mean, that was a stretch. I think if you'd have rewound to the win against Cheltenham and said we won't win again till almost the end of February, I think we'd have gone, no, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
But we, was the case, the clean sheet thing as well. And actually, your stat packs that I receive and look through, they were dominated by those statistics and they've all gone now. So if your stat pack comes through and those are gone, the clean sheet's gone. And obviously the losses, or not one in 18 or 19 or whatever it was, has gone. So that's great, and it was really positive reaction from Tuesday night's win, and so it should have been. It was a great performance second half.
And Kevin, the new manager's come in now 4 unbeaten. What have you made of the mood around the club since Nathan Jones' arrival?
Yeah, I was there for his first game, and I was in the stands watching him, and I think I spent more time watching him than I did the football. He's so enthusiastic. He's got so much energy. He's got so much passion for what he does, and then I think the players sort of responded to him. The first game they responded, and I sort of knew we would go on a good run because he's all about the fundamentals and he's all about players doing it right. And I think he would have a good time here.
Brownie, from what you've seen on the pitch, what does it look like he's doing differently, Nathan Jones?
Without slanting the previous managers, it looks like the organisation out of possession's better. I said this after the game on Tuesday. I think he's not asking players to do what they're uncomfortable doing. So he's playing to players' strengths, avoiding their weaknesses, which is what you should do as a player anyway. But sometimes when a manager's asking you to play a certain way, you can't avoid it. I'm not sure I'd have liked to have been stuck out in a channel receiving possession, and on the turnover I'm wide open, stuck out on my own. So, some players don't like that and find it uncomfortable. I think in terms of percentage-wise, in terms of a player receiving or where there is on the pitch, I think he's given them less to think about. And he's not, I'm not going to be as offensive as say he's dumbed it down, but he's making sure that there's no mistakes in our defensive third. And I think it's fair to say that we've made quite a few defensive errors giving goals away this season. I think Nathan was keen to stop that just while he addressed the slide. Now we've addressed the slide, what can we do moving forward? As he gets to know the group more, I think we'll see maybe a bit more confidence in players and asking them to do different things.
Kevin Lisbie, as a young man that came through the academy here at Charlton, it seems that Nathan Jones is shining up another diamond in the rough in the shape of match winner Roy Anderson from Tuesday. What have you made of the young man? Energy.
He's enthusiastic, and I watched him here the first game and he was unbelievable. And what is he, 18? He looks like an experienced player, and he looks like a player that the manager's going to like. He looks like a manager sort of player. I think he's one of those at the moment that, for me, he's one of the first names on the team sheet.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's really important to the team in the way probably the manager wants them to play.
He's been kind of in and out of the squad across the season, hasn't he, Brownie? What can it mean to a young player to have that either arm around you or that faith put in you?
Yeah, I think it's been evident that Nathan's pulled it on one side and has backed him enormously. And then I think the other side of that coin is Roy's delivered. And so when Roy delivers, it's easy for the manager to then put his arm around him again, and it's easy to get him in a room and say, look, here's what I'm seeing during the game. If you can tidy this up. But that side of your game is brilliant. Confidence. It just shoots through the roof. And I think that's what we're seeing with Roy. I still don't... I think one of the bravest calls Nathan's made, and we haven't come to this point, luckily. He's put Roy Anderson in a 10. He's not a 10 player. But yet he does exactly what Nathan wants him to do at this time. And he covers so much ground, and he went into a challenge the other night, he hurt himself. We don't see that too often, or we haven't seen that too often here. Dobson's maybe the only other one that will throw himself into a 70-30 against and hurt himself, and Roy did that the other night. So although he's not a 10, he is delivering something for Nathan that he wants out of that 10 role, whilst he settles into the job, and Roy's delivering. And the finish the other night, do you see it?
Yeah.
It was outstanding. Brilliant. But I think he can do that. I think he can play alongside the two. And he's got enough energy and speed to get up, because he dropped back in at that point alongside another central midfielder, and that came coming up behind play late, and it was a brilliant finish.
For the manager, Nathan Jones, what do you think he's doing on the training field to continue this positive momentum that we currently have? Or is it easier? Maybe you just go through the natural process? Or
yeah, it's never easy. Like today, for instance, if any of those players have walked in, I guess they had Wednesday off, it was a late get back. I guess they had Wednesday off Thursday. If any of them strolled out thinking we've won and, you know, take it a bit easy today, I guarantee Nathan was on top of them immediately, saying if you go into Northampton with any less than we delivered second half derby, you will get beat. So that's where I think he is earning his money. There's decisions that he's made that are brave in terms of personnel, and I don't think he has anybody mess about on the training field. I think there's a demand from Nathan that is what we're seeing in the performances. So I'm only guessing, but if training wasn't where he wanted it to be Thursday, he would have been on him.
Yeah, just from what Brownie said there, in fact, Liz, what would you expect from the approach to today's game away at Northampton, who are kind of in the middle of the table? Yeah. Do you think they're going to sit back and contain the Addicts, or really try and impose themselves?
Who, Charlton? Yeah, I think Charlton's going to have to play the same game. I think, as Brownie said, I think he's going to be asking a little bit more from them than they delivered the other day, because we've got that. Sometimes you win a game and now all of a sudden you think you've made it, and you think that there's a bit of complacency, and you think you can relax a little bit. But if you look at the table in itself, and I'm sure he will be, there's no time to be resting on your laurels and be relaxing and enjoying wins at the moment. So I think he'll be demanding even more than he did the last game, and I think he'll be right to, and I'm sure his players will respond to that.
He'll be acutely aware that if we pick something up today, you've got Charlton, which don't look at Charlton as an easy fixture. Darrell's gone in there and made them very difficult to beat, and they're not bad at home. So, but he'll be very acutely aware that there's 2 winnable games after this, and suddenly you want to run if we can get something out today.
Well, of course, we've got plenty coming your way pre-match here on Charlton TV. But before we do, let's hear from the manager, Nathan Jones, who spoke to the press earlier this week.
Nathan, you said when you came that we must start picking up wins as early as possible to get out of the position we're in. After the performances and going through unbeaten, it seemed inevitable that a victory would come, certainly from the outside looking in. But getting it as second place derby was it's a difficult place to go. Definite bonus?
Yeah, look, you say it's inevitable, but it's only inevitable if you keep doing the right things, keep improving, and week in, week out, I think we have. You know, we've said we want to put in foundations that give us opportunities to really win games, and then when we add a bit more fluency to our play, then that can give us a springboard to go and get the wins, and we're starting to get there. You know, we've had some real difficult run of fixtures because the last 4, you know, obviously it's difficult with the Reading game because we've hardly been in any time, but the last 4 we've had really tough teams to play against. Lincoln are in wonderful form. The other 3 are the top 3, and so it's been a tough start, but we've showed that we can compete at the top level.
I think one of the most memorable aspects of that victory against Derby was the celebrations at the end. Not just because of the emotions with you and the players and the fans, but the travelling fans. But the celebration included the whole squad. It wasn't just those that were on the pitch at the end, it was everybody. So that sense of togetherness, is that important going forward?
Oh, absolutely. You won't build anything on your own, and you can't build anything with 2, 3, 4, 5 people. It has to be a whole football club, and everyone comes together. That win was, it was a culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of people, not just the 11 who started, or the manager, or the coaches, everyone. And as I said, we win together, we celebrate together, and we move forward together, because it does take everyone.
You spoke at the end about Tane Watson playing through the pain barrier. Unfortunately, he had to come off. Firstly, how is he? And secondly, can he continue to manage the injury through the season, or is there something got to be done?
I don't think it's anything serious like that. It's just sort of like stiffness and tightness because of the games, because of, something's happened, and then it sinks. So that'll ease up. It's just how quickly and how much he's able then to manage it.
It's going to be a heavy schedule. You mentioned the tough schedule we've had. It's going to be a heavy schedule in March, 6 games. 4 of those are against sides around us in the table, and 4 of them are away from home. How important is the momentum we built up to this point going forward?
Well, yeah, it's crazy. The EFL's always got a crazy fixture list. In terms of away fixtures, it's mental because it's a bit strange because we've had 3 on the spin now. We've got a lot of away games and stuff. It's just how somewhere along the line we would have had to have a lot of home games, because at the end of the day you've got to play 23 home, 23 away. So it evens itself out, but it just seems the schedule for us at the minute is a little bit. Is very hectic, a little bit crazy with all the away games, but we'll have to manage that, and we'll have to build that momentum and pick up the points that we need, because as I said, these are big games coming up.
I know you said before that you'd prefer, if possible, to keep the same 11 week in, week out, but with that heavy schedule, we're going to need to use the squad we've got.
It's impossible, I think, to keep the same 11, to play an intense football game, to play the way that we want to play, the manner we demand from people, and then sporadically train in between to then pick the same 11 and get the same outcomes is very, very difficult. So we're going to have to use the squad.
Another sold-out away end. We'll travel to Northampton again for Charlton's game against Northfield. Northampton, I mean, the Sixfields Stadium's going to be a special atmosphere on Saturday.
Well, I hope so, because as I said, the more we can, every little bit we can get, we need, and every little bit of help that the fans can give us, and then hopefully we can give them a performance that send them home very, very, very happy. And I said we're starting to expect that from the fans now in terms of the following, and it's brilliant to see, because that's what we want to generate. We want to generate a real togetherness, a real atmosphere where we all want to achieve the goal, and they can help in that.
Thanks, Nathan.
Great to hear from the manager Nathan Jones there earlier in the week. Brownie, did you like what you heard, particularly this idea about winning together as a football club and everyone responsible for that?
Yeah, to be fair to Nathan, he sold that from day one. And I think we've addressed this already, where if you're a player, and he's done this to 1 or 2, where they're playing one week and completely out of the squad another and brings them back in the following week, that's sometimes difficult to take as a player, but he's managing those moments really well. And what will help enormously is how we've performed.
Getting the results.
And the results, yeah, how we've performed and the results. Because if they don't, Kevin mentioned it earlier, if they don't go well, you get this little unsettled group in the dressing room. But when it's going well, nothing anyone can say in the dressing room. And then they start to believe what the manager's delivering on the training field, because it is yielding results. So at the moment, it's all going swimmingly well. Yeah, I mean, he always looks agitated on the sidelines to me, but always looks calm and composed in the presses, and I think that's a great balance. He sucks in the question, gives good answers, and yet on the sideline, you'd think you'd had about 10 cans of Red Bull. So.
Liz, as a former player, how would Nathan Jones' words inspire you?
I listened to that interview, and he spoke about everyone being involved and everyone celebrating it. But listen, if we get relegated, we all get relegated. So I think it's only right that all the players sort of celebrate together, and a lot of fans don't realise there's a lot of players who don't play minutes but put a lot of effort in on the training ground to ensure that the starting 11 make sure they go out and give a good performance. So I think it's only right that he gets everyone together, and he makes sure that they all feel part of it, because they are going to all be part of it. And as Brownie says, if you listen to him and his interviews, he sounds like he he's really up for it. And as Brownie said, on the side, he's got so much energy and he does seem agitated. But at the same time, he seems like he's bringing that energy to the team. If I was a manager, I don't think I'd be able to sit down once. I think I'd be quite similar to him because your team does represent you as a manager, and I think at the moment we seem to be doing that.
Well, we can take a look at the Charlton Athletics starting 11 for today, the away fixture at Northampton Town. One change from the 11 that started against Derby, Brownie. What do you make of the team there?
Yeah, I kind of would have been not too far away from that if you'd have asked me to write it down before I got here. I think Dobson will drop alongside Coventry and Anderson will be behind Kanu and May. I don't see it as that way. Well, we'll soon find out when we kick off. But yeah, Freddie coming out and Alfie in, that's the change, isn't it? And he's done that before. Yeah. So it's one of those ones where, you know, there is no argument. As long as he's consistent, Nathan, with what he's doing, I don't think you have much of an argument as a player, particularly when results are as they are. We've played the top 3 sides and come away with 5 points. So when it's like that, you know, if as much as it pains me to say it, when you walk in and you know and you get the finger to go upstairs and they go, yeah, you're not in this week, there's nothing you can say when the team's doing well. Literally nothing. But what it does do is it does leave the door open when it's not going well. You can go knock on the door. But those guys kind of deserve the shirt again in terms of what they delivered up at Derby. But I think the rotation between the front boys they're just going to have to get used to that because I think it's about the energy.
Liz, as our forward here in the studio, what do you make of that front two? Do you expect them to both kind of play behind the defence, or do you think May might drop in? And what have you made of the youngster Daniel Kanu, who seems to be the first name on the sheet up front for the Addicts for the last few games? Yeah,
I was quite surprised that he sort of, the manager showed so much faith in him as soon as he came in. And if you're looking at May, the goals he scored, I think May will probably roam. I like him when he roams rather than staying high. He finds spaces, and I think the more touches of the ball he has, the more he can impact the game. So I think it's quite important that he doesn't just stay quite high with Kanu, but I think they will play as a pair. But as you say, Kanu runs in behind. I think if you look at the penalty the other day, he's got clever movement. He understands the game now. He's getting a lot more experience, and May obviously can play a little bit deeper and hopefully put those wing backs in and then get more attacking that way.
Yeah, I think the more interesting thing is the bench, which is. We've gone again from a player...
more interesting
than the team. Yeah, absolutely. Because Kamara goes from starting to nothing.
Well, I guess it's the options if things aren't going to plan, right? Which we've sat here before and said that we haven't had that. Yeah,
right. He's got options, but again, it's like how would you feel if you was playing up front and then nothing in the stands? It's a real... Look, it's something he's selling, and they're buying into it as a group, and they've got to. I'd struggle with that. Really struggle with that because my whole week was spent training hard to at least be in the 16. Yeah. It must be difficult to take. But do you know what? You know they're going to have to get on with it. But there's no Chucks either, which you know we haven't addressed yet. And Chuck's not being on the bench.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, all is all right with that.
I'm sure it is. He's had a long spell out, not just this season, but over the last couple of seasons. So he has to be managed. And, you know, we had this discussion about can he start? Absolutely not. Don't even think about it. He's just getting ready for 25, 30, 40 minutes every game. All right? And make sure that he's mentally in the right place because we're going to need that from now to the end of the season. Don't even think about starting him.
Do you think the manager's been told to ease back on him a little bit and ensure that he doesn't... Because you're looking at the back end of the season, which we are entering now, and you're thinking he could be a massive player for the team. So maybe that's a conversation had, and maybe that's why he's not on the bench.
I just really want to quickly touch on the back three as well, Brownie. So the same three are in there, and it doesn't feel like we're missing Jones and, of course, Michael Hector that's been out for quite a while. What have you made of the back three?
Well, Hector's back on the bench, so that's great to see as well in terms of availability. Because the more you have available, then there are more difficult options for Nathan. But it's better to have the options and not have them. So it's good to see Michael back on the bench. In terms of the back three, if you've gone up to Derby and won a game, and I get left out, now Jones is still suspended, but the other one, I might be wrong here, but I think Ness was on the bench last game as well, and Ness is off the bench. You know, for Lucas, that's a tough one to take.
Well, in news elsewhere, the women's team will be back in action here at the Valley for the upcoming game against London City Lionesses on March the 24th. It was initially set to be played at Oakwood, that one, but has now been moved here, because all games are going to count towards the end of the season for the Charlton Athletic Women's. It means the Addicts had 3 big games at the Valley to end the season, against London City Lionesses, then Birmingham City visit on March the 31st, before a potential thrilling season finale against Southampton on Sunday, April the 28th. This weekend, though, the women's team travelled to Watford, and on screen now you can just see a few shots from behind the scenes as the girls prepared at Sparrows Lane. They look to cement their place towards the top of the Barclays Women's Championship, where it is extremely tight, and I guess will be until the end of the season. Our girls currently sit in 4th place on 30 points, equal with Southampton in 3rd and Crystal Palace in 2nd. And 1 point above those and top of the league is Sunderland. And although they've played 1 game more than ourselves and Crystal Palace, remember, from the Women's Championship, only 1 gets promoted to the WSL. So we wish the girls the best of luck tomorrow and across the rest of the season, of course. Now, I'm sure many of you were here for the last game, that hard-fought draw against Portsmouth. It was a great one, well earned by the lads, but it was also our annual PSA testing day here at the Valley. So from James to James. Of course, the Valley is buzzing today for their home fixture against Portsmouth, but a very special welcome as well to the 500 fans that have signed up for our annual PSA testing day. So let's head into the bowels of the Valley now, into the suite, to find out what's going on. Scott Minto showing that even superstars are not immortal, and being here today for our Charlton Athletic PSA Day. How's your experience been here today at the Valley?
No, really good. I mean, I actually missed it last year because I was working for another broadcaster. But from 2 years ago, it's pretty much the same here. It's smooth as anything. You know, what TJ's done is nothing short of sensational. It couldn't be smoother, and I think that's testament not just to TJ, but every person that's come down here, you know, to help out today.
So Chris, you've just come out from your PSA test, or your blood being taken anyway. How did you find the experience?
No problem at all. You don't feel a thing, and it's just great to do it.
Why do you think it's such a good initiative that the club put this on and make it so accessible for the fans?
Well, obviously Tracy is the main reason for doing it. She lost her father to prostate cancer, and she started it, and I think it was about 200 then. So it's got better and better every season, and it's fantastic now, 500. It looks like that she's actually going to meet her target for money. Absolutely fabulous.
So a man that some of you out there may not instantly recognise, but you'll definitely recognise his dulcet tones. Terry Smith, I found you in the queue here for the Charlton Athletic PSA testing day. You're hoping to jump down the queue, but I'm going to put you back in your spot, don't worry. Why is it important for you to be here today, mate, and make sure that you get the test done?
Like everybody else, just want to make sure you're all right, mate. You know, we've all got family. I've got grandchildren. I want to make sure I'm still there for them when they grow up. So, yeah, it's just an important thing to do. It doesn't take long. It's a harpoon, but that's all right. And, yeah, it's just important for your health. And that's, as you get to a certain age, it becomes more relevant. Tracy Liebert, obviously, at the forefront of driving it, is superb at doing so. And if it wasn't for Tracy, probably half of us wouldn't be here, because she badgers us, which we need, you know. I think everybody says it, men are fairly laid back, and too laid back at times to go and get themselves checked out. So it needs somebody to kick you in a certain place to make sure you do what's necessary and what's best for you.
And I'm delighted to have the woman that's made this all possible, Tracy Liebert. And you've managed to grab a friend in the shape of Nathan Jones to come up as well here. Nathan, firstly, Tracy's been putting this together since 2018 at the football club, ensuring that Charlton fans are being tested, this PSA testing that's been going on. How good is it that she's been doing that?
Oh, it's a wonderful initiative, you know. I think there's more awareness now in terms of what they're testing for and everything. And I know, you know, I've a good friend of mine suffered with it and has made a recovery, and you know, he caught it early and stuff. So these type of things are real good initiatives, and it's great to see, you know, so many people come in and taking the opportunity to get that, as I said, because it effectively can save your life. I'll obviously help anything that Tracy does. Tracy does love for the football club. She's a wonderful ambassador of our club and things. So anything that Tracy needs, you know, she does a lot personally for me as well. So anything that I can help and being part of Charlton as well, it's a great cause. So yeah, I'm not going to promise everything, because she could sign me up, but I will definitely help in some way.
to go from, I think, 195 tests the first time we did it to now 500 and selling out, it just shows how much of a need, and men do worry about their health, and that they've come and taken this opportunity. I've got my daughter here helping me, I've got my son coming to support me a bit later. You know, they lost their granddad to this terrible disease, so yeah, it is really important, and it's to know that hopefully we're going to be saving other families going through what we did is just what it's all about.
And I know you mentioned the word there, hopefully, but we know for sure that we've identified, I believe it's almost 100 individuals from this testing as well. How proud are you as a fact of that? I'm
over the moon. Like when I get stopped and men come up and say, I got it found out early, you know, I'm going to live. That's what it's all about. It really is. And just, I can't thank everybody for the support. Nathan popping up now, you know, everyone here is supporting, from sorting this room out, from the phlebotomist to everybody. It's a real Charlton family, basically, that we're all helping to save lives.
Those final stats that you've just seen up there on the screen, gents, I mean, it just shows how much of a difference this club is making. And Brownie, great work from the football club, and specifically Tracy Leeburn, turning that huge negative in her life into such a positive.
Yeah, and she was emotional there at the end. You know, when you hear Tracy speak normally, there was a little wobble in her voice there, and it's, you know, that's how much it means to Tracy, and she does a great job. And she was scrambling there towards the end for sponsorship, because you know, it is the club. Without the sponsorship, you can't get it at the price you get it for. Yeah. It's a lot more than that. And so she does a wonderful job, you know, getting the donations in to be able to allow people to come in and do that. But it's 24 red, you know, and let's hope the 24 reds are nothing significant. Yeah. But if they are, that's 24 people that had probably had no idea. And so they're in a much better place now than they were. At least it's early enough to be detected and something done about it. And that's why it's so important. You ignore the large numbers of green, it's the ones that are red and amber. You know, have they been found at a point where they didn't know? And that's why it's so important. Yeah, for people that don't realise at home, it costs £30 for a test. The club are putting £15 towards each test, but then there needs to be some fundraising done as well. Liz, you were part of the fundraising, the Fear Pong Challenge. How was that? Tell us about it.
Yeah, Tracy dragged me, me and Brownie and Scotty. And look, it's such a selfless act what she does.
Here we go, here he is, Brownie.
Yeah, yeah. Just warming myself up for the ice. Here we go. Yeah. Easy peasy.
Our very own Charlotte Richardson doing the honours as well. Ready to collect down the bottom.
That is terrible.
There you go.
I like how Charlotte handed over to Minto to grab the guys out the bottom.
Yeah, this was an easy one, actually. That was an easy one, just lemon. I ended up chewing it. But the second one was not so good.
A man who's done plenty of tequilas before, Liz.
Well,
he actually enjoyed that.
Ollie Groom said something off air which can't be repeated, and my response to it was equally as rude. So
something like he's always bitter anyway.
that would have been able to be aired. Yeah. The one that Ollie said, it's for after dark. It was quite brutal, actually.
Honest.
Well, no, because it involved. We'll leave it there.
Well, listen, gents, really good sports for getting involved, and I believe that people at home, you can still donate to the Barry Kilby Prostate Cancer Appeal as well to support that PSA testing and everything the club's doing in and around it. We're going to turn our attention now, though, gents, to some of the other fixtures taking place in the Sky Bet League 1 today. So we'll just turn to the screen now and take a quick look at them, Brownie. And in fact, if we go back to Tuesday night, most of the results went our way, didn't they? And we've got another full day of games ahead today. Cambridge, who are a point ahead of us, face a difficult trip to Bolton. Carlisle against Reading is a big game for both teams, while Derby, who we beat on Tuesday, of course, host Port Vale. Fleetwood welcome Wigan, and Shrewsbury Town host Blackpool. So, yeah, I guess the big one there for us at the bottom, Brownie, well, Port Vale, Derby could do us a favour after we took points off of those, and then also that Carlisle versus Reading one is a huge one for us, isn't it?
Do you know what? I'm going to say not so much, no. I want Carlisle to win that, and that may be strange to say, but Carlisle are out of it for me. So Carlisle beating Reading keeps Reading where they, you know, just above that top four. So I'd like Carlisle to win that one. I think the Charlton-Burton one is a biggie. At the very least, you want to draw there. You know, but Derby will beat Port Vale. Losing 2 on the trot for Derby was catastrophic, so they're going to bounce back with a win there, I'm pretty sure.
Liz, as a squad full of players, do you look at other results, or do you go, listen, let's control the controllables and worry about our game?
I think if we lost the other day, our last game, we would have had to start looking at other teams. I think getting that result against Derby is sort of us giving it. For me personally, I think it's in our hands now. I don't see Paul Velt being Derby, and looking at the performances that we've had recently against bigger teams, so-called bigger teams. I think after today's game, I think we've got some winnable games, and I think we'll start looking at ourselves, I think.
And just turning our attention to one of your other former teams, Leighton Orient, at home to Bristol Rovers today. Could they make the playoffs? Only 5 points in it, I believe. And who thought we'd have said that at the beginning of the season when we played them here and got the 1-0 victory against them? It kind of turned on its head where the teams find themselves.
Yeah, I was at Leighton Orient last Saturday. I think they lost 2-1. But and then they went, I think, was it Oxford? They went and won 2-1 as well. Was it Oxford? I think that was a big result for them. That sort of keeps them in it. But yeah, looking at Leighton Orient, to think that they're going to be in that playoff hunt towards the end of the season is a massive achievement for such a small club.
Yeah, he's done a great job, Richie Williams. Great job.
Yeah, I mean the game they the game they lost 2-1. He came out and he was fuming. He was absolutely fuming, and what he spoke about was our playoff chance has been scrapped. So he's obviously got his eye on that playoff. He's not just in it for a good time.
I thought their turning point actually was their 1-0 win against us Boxing Day.
Right.
They went on a great run, and that's pushed them up to where they are. Yeah. And with the budget they've got, and the troubles they've had over the last 5 years, they went down into the national conference. You know, it's a brilliant story, brilliant comeback. Good luck to them.
And it shows you how you can, I guess, pull up the standards of a football club as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what I spoke about in terms of the last game and losing. He wasn't happy. He weren't happy, and he could have been, because they was on a good run, as Brownie said. They was on a real good run, and then to lose one game amongst those results is not the worst thing in the world. But he was keen on ensuring that the players understood he was trying to get to playoffs, and I think, as you spoke about just a minute ago, I think high standards is really important in this division.
Well, quickly turning our attention away from today's action. Thursday night saw the London Football Awards take place, and our very own Alfie May was in the running for some of the accolades. So Charlton TV went along just in case things went our way.
I'm absolutely delighted to say the winner is Alfie May.
Alfie, we're at the London Football Awards, so you've just been named EFL Player of the Year. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's a good achievement for like I say, for myself, and it's a strange one because where I've come from, it's never been sort of in this place to be invited to things like this, and you're sitting in a room with people like Declan Rice, Frank Lampard, and yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a pinch myself moment, but really proud. But like I say, it's a team game, and you sort of have to thank your teammates.
And who came with you tonight?
Wife and my brother. My brother's very supportive with my football, and he's sort of been by my side as a young kid as well. He's been the older brother that sometimes you need. He looks after me well, so it was important that I brought him with me tonight.
21 goals and counting already this season. How pleased have you been with your personal output? Yeah,
personally been sort of really happy with it. I know recently I've not obviously been on the score sheet as myself, been frustrated as ever, and as a goal scorer you sort of do go through a little drought, and I've been quite lucky with other players around me that haven't scored in the league as well. But yeah, got one Tuesday, and hopefully that sort of kick-starts me to have a sort of strong end of the season.
As you said, back amongst the goal on Tuesday, and that helped fire us to our first win in a while. How good was that for you and the lads?
It's a great feeling, just the winning feeling, and in the change room after, it's a good feeling. And listen, we celebrated because we haven't had that feeling since, I think it was Cheltenham at home. And like I say, the fans have been there by our side, supporting week in, week out, and we need them as much as anything, and we've got 11 cup finals to go.
Tuesday night also marked your first goal under Nathan Jones. How have you and the lads taken to him as a manager?
Yeah, really well. I think as a club we can see what he's brought to the team. His energy levels are brilliant. He wants to be front-footed, and I think we've played the top three in the last 3 games, and we've had a right good go. and that's what he wants, and he wants to win football matches, and it's what this industry is. You need to win football matches, and like I say, hopefully now we can really kick on.
Back-to-back away games to come with a sold-out away end behind us at Northampton on Saturday, and then on Tuesday, a familiar place for you with a return to Charlton. How much do you look forward to those games and the quick turnaround?
That's it. Yeah, like I say, when you're winning. And you're sort of on an unbeaten run at the minute, you want the games to come thick and fast because you just feel ready to go, and nothing can get in the way at the minute. So it's important that, like I say, we've had good couple of days before Northampton, and then another quick turnaround to go visit my old place, Cheltenham, that I'm excited for. See a few old faces, hopefully get a good reception from the fans, but I know what football's like. But yeah, can't wait.
Alfie May there, taking home the London Football Awards EFL Player of the Season. Liz, as a fellow forward here in the studio, 21 goals from Alfie May already. First season at the club, what have you made of him?
It's unbelievable. I think every time he touches the ball, he's got quality on the ball. He's such a inspirational player for the team. I think when he's not in the team, they miss him. Every time he touches the ball in and around the box, you feel something's going to happen. He works hard for the team. He's played left wing. I think he's played left wing, right wing. He's played number 10. He's played as a number 9. He's played beside someone. So he's played almost in every position, and he seems to produce every single time. And it's an inspiration to most youngsters, I think.
Yeah, Brownie, I was going to say on that point, you know, it shows youngsters that maybe get released at a younger age that you can still go on to have a career.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what grassroots football and non-league's about, really. Is that it's not for you. People develop at different rates at different stages, all right. And there's no shame being released. But most kids drop out in the non-league, and it's how they approach it mentally once they drop down. Because quite a lot drop out because it is different to the pro game, completely and utterly different. There's a different mindset, and if you can get your head around that. Right, and you can perform down in the non-league level, there is a pathway back up 100%. It isn't easy, it's very, very difficult. So everyone that's done it, you do tip your cap, because it's quite a lonely world when you drop down and out. No one really cares. So it's all on you, and you've got to understand that and realise it quite quickly.
Alfie May had, of course, a bit of a scoring barren run, but got himself back on the score sheet Tuesday night. Hopefully, he can provide more of the same today as he starts alongside Daniel Kanu. If you're tuning in from wherever it is in the world, or you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, don't forget you can purchase your live streaming pass for all the action for today's fixture against Northampton Town. So purchase your pass for £10 now. As you saw in that previous feature, Alfie May scored from the spot after a fantastic reverse pass from Coventry. What do we call it nowadays, Brownie? In behind the lines?
We just call it a very good pass, that's what we call it. You don't have to dress it up into modern-day language.
In behind the lines, Daniel Kanu nudged just in front of the goalkeeper to win that spot kick, of course. Coventry was one of the players that very much impressed Tuesday night, and because of that, we went and spoke to him down at Sparrows Lane this week.
Tuesday night was a massive night for all of us. I think, obviously, even before I got here, it's been a while since we've had a win, so I think just for the momentum and the confidence of the group was great. Obviously a tough place to go, and yeah, it was just great to really experience what winning felt like. The fans have been great, really. I think their support's been great, and obviously we had another good travelling group, despite obviously the form, like I said. So obviously it's picked up recently, and I think we just wanted to try and reward them as much as we could, and it was great to go over there and be able to taste the win and enjoy it with them, really. So I've had a bit of stick already from some of the lads, I think, but no, it's good. That's the gaffer, isn't it? I think it's passion, and his wears his heart on his sleeve, and yeah, I'm just pleased that he was pleased with me, really. I think obviously that sort of ball and that sort of play is something we spoke about a lot and worked on in training, and I think, DK with his attitude and his attributes as well, he's going to be on the last line, he's looking for that type of ball, and yeah, he done really well to get there. It's something that we're all the midfielders are working on in training. It's something that's sort of a part of our game, and something we want to implement into the team and stretch in teams, and yeah, so hopefully we can get more goals from it. We're in a position where we need points, and we've played some tough teams. I think people probably looking at this run of games would have been very, maybe down's the word about it, and but we took it game by game, and I think we've got belief we can sort of go toe to toe with anyone, and we've shown that, and it just gives us real confidence for the games coming as well. It's been good under the gaffer. He's been really demanding, and that's something that I've really enjoyed in training. It's like every pass is important. Really, everything you do is important, and I think that can only bring the best out of all of us. And I want to play every minute, really. So obviously it's been tough. It's been disappointing at times, but that's all I could do really, was try and put performance in and yeah, show what I can do. And hopefully I've done that and can continue to do that more. I think when the gaffer came in, he said, I don't want to just get safe. I want to get away from that and keep kicking on. So that's the idea, try and win as many games as we can, and one, get safe, and two, sort of build something for next season. And yeah, personally, obviously, I just want to play as much as I can and improve my performances as much as I can. And yeah, same for me, build some momentum for next season, really. You know, they're a good side. They're in a decent position in the table. We obviously played them a few weeks ago and lost, so we obviously want to get that one back, and we know they're a good side, and yeah, we're going to go there and hopefully try and win the game. The last few away games, you look at Bolton away and Reading away, and then obviously Derby on Tuesday night. I think the fans have been massive for us, and they've really backed us even through tough times, and we all really appreciate that. And I think that really drove us on in the dying minutes the other night. And to hear we've got another sold out away end is great for us, and really makes us look forward to the game even more.
Brownie, Coventry there. From the second half, when we really turned it around as a team, one of the standout performers. What did you make of him Tuesday night?
Yeah, I thought he was terrific. And I thought the ball in behind, we've spoken about it off air, and there's a lot more to it than just somebody putting a ball 40 yards down the line. It's the accuracy of it. It's the pressure that's coming from their midfielder. He understands not to take a touch and get caught in possession. And you asked me a question about Nathan earlier, and that's the moment, not getting caught in possession in your own half. Not only does he not do that, he must know where Kanu is, and Kev can talk a bit about Kanu's run, because that's equally as good, and it makes the penalty. But the ball in from Coventry is outstanding, and we often talk about analysis here. With Connor, you can get into the final details of analysis, because he's football intelligent, and so you'd expect him not to make too many mistakes. His passing technically is very, very good. So a very good signing for me.
Yeah, so Liz, we saw that pass, and is that something maybe instinctively because he's been playing at a higher level?
Yeah, I think it's also, we speak about percentages as well, and Brownie spoke about midfielders understanding when to take a touch of a ball and when to be able to put it into a decent area. And as Brownie said, I think he's a very intelligent player. For one, to understand he didn't have the time to take a touch, and maybe he would have got closed down, and maybe then obviously his defenders then having to defend. He's not only done that, he's put a great ball in there, and if you see the ball, it's got enough weight on it and it comes back in, that allows Kanu to be in the box still, which then allows Kanu to obviously get the touch and get the penalty.
And the young man being on the same wavelength as well, accolades for him.
Yeah, we spoke about it off air. I think there's two things to look at. I think his triggers for me is when his leg goes back, you could see that he weren't going to play it to his feet. You could see he was looking to play it into the channel. And then the other thing is having a winning runner to go into that channel. Well, gents, let's have a quick reminder of today's starting lineups that we should have now. Only one change for the starting 11 for Charlton Athletic. Freddie Ladapo coming out and Alfie May coming in to the starting 11 there this afternoon. There's a lot of competition for places in the centre of the park. We've discussed Coventry. Is that good for a player like him, Brownie, particularly coming in with a bit of a reputation from West Ham with a substantial financial package as well?
Yeah, and there was other clubs interested, clubs from a higher division. So, you know, whatever we've paid, however we've managed to do it, we've got him here. And I would say that moving forward, he'll be one of the pivotal figures, you know, in terms of putting a squad together. But yeah, it's nice to see him back-to-back games, because that hasn't been the case. He's played, come out, played, and now he's got back-to-back games. And I think the reason he's got back-to-back games is because of how he performed on Tuesday night. And I guess that's one of Nathan's ways. He might have seen something in the game before he didn't like. You come out the side. You haven't done what I want. I'm only speculating here. I'm not sure, but I get the feeling that's it. Yeah. It's my way. If you don't do it, you're coming out of the team, and I'll put somebody in that does do it until we get ourselves out of this situation, which we're slowly doing.
Yeah, Liz, as a player, perhaps if a manager's asking you to play a different way, maybe you need to spend some time out of the team to learn what's required of you as well. Yeah, definitely. The manager always takes the brunt of a loss. Although players obviously feel it, we go in the change room and we're upset about it, but. If you're a manager and you're asking your team to perform and play a certain way and they're not doing it, I totally agree with him to take people out and for them to analyse it, assess it, and then hopefully when they go back into play that they understand the way he wants them to play. As we can see from the shots, the players are just about to come out. So just over to you guys one final time. Brownie, what are you expecting from this one? Predictions?
Well, considering the run we've been on, I'm very much more optimistic than I have been. So I think we're going to win this one. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet today. They're not bad, Northampton, going forward. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win.
Okay, and Liz.